Angela Rye accuses former CNN host Chris Cuomo of a humiliating experience that may have cost her her job.
It all began on New Year's Day when I posted a picture of myself looking forward to the new year in a gold sequin bikini on Instagram. Cuomo screenshot the image and said, "Happy New Year, Tinsel Crotch." Stunned, I read and reread the message a dozen times, trying to understand. If I somehow brought this on myself, since whatever you post on social is fair game, right? I teared up, like now, then the tears flowed. I felt like the safest place I had on a show on CNN had been compromised.
It says former CNN contributor Angela Rye says Chris Cuomo put her through an embarrassing and humiliating experience and may have cost her her job at the network. The attorney and commenter made the claims in the premiere episode, remind you, of her iHeart podcast, Native Land Pod, which he co-hosts with Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gillum. Haven't heard those names in a while. Rye said that when she didn't reply to his Instagram comment, okay, so all this happened on Instagram, Cuomo offered her exciting new career opportunities, seemingly to smooth things over after the New Year's message.
Chris Cuomo was suddenly excited about a prominent and regular role for me where I would check the left. Truthfully, I had my doubts on the genuine nature of this idea. Our on-air conversations and chemistry became something viewers look forward to. But Cuomo came up with this particular segment idea after a text exchange that went woefully wrong.
But when she confronted Cuomo about his bikini comment, CNN ended her contract, and now she says she believes Cuomo may have had her fired over the debacle. Okay, so what do you think? Oh, and here's the picture in question. The picture in question, that's Chris Cuomo and Angela Rye, and this is the Tinsel Crotch picture. Posted on her Instagram and commented on by her coworker, Chris Cuomo. Okay, so what do you think about this? I think it's interesting that the timing of this, you could say that Angela Rye waited until, and I understand this is of a sensitive nature, right? You want to hear these claims out to their full extent. And if there's some validity there, you want swift and thorough action against a perceived, I don't know what you would call them, Me Tooer, or because this isn't even like on the predator level. But that comment, she believes, according to what she's saying on her podcast, is what led to her firing. And also, in profusely apologizing for this, she believes Chris Cuomo offered her some job advancement for this. But does this rise to the level of a tearful confession on the podcast? That's what I would ask. And especially in your inaugural episode when, let's just be honest, we all here in social media now, when you need to get that attention, what happens? You put something on there that will get a lot of attention, right? You'll get some traction with it. So does this rise to the level of Me Tooing? Because she mentions this in another clip that she realizes that there are other women that have, serious issues where they've been essayed or harassed repeatedly for long periods of time on their job.
I felt like the safest place I had on a show on CNN had been compromised. I ignored it, just hoping it would go away. Or even more, did I imagine this? But I didn't. A few hours later, he said hello. I didn't respond for 2 more days, despite his plea the next day to call because he wanted to discuss work. I tried to punt until after the Georgia runoffs, asking a week later if he still wanted to discuss his work idea, despite him mentioning tinsel bikini and tinsel bottom along the way. As I think about this, it feels so small compared to what other women in the workplace experience. But I was afraid to speak up. Between New Year's and my follow-up, an insurrection happened on Capitol Hill where I feared I would lose loved ones. I felt like if I called him out, I was risking everything I was finally starting to build with the network. And as someone who is known for being courageous, I cannot begin to tell you how much I felt like, even now feel like a coward.
So yes, realistically, and I've spoken to people about this, women are constantly faced with these type of mini microaggressions or advances, or, speaking in reference to a body part. Because let's just be clear here. Chris Cuomo is dead wrong for talking about that in a work environment. Could he have thought that they were friends and they had this type of relationship, playful banter relationship, that he could slide this joke in there? Yes. Could he have thought that was a huge mistake? Obviously so, because he starts profusely apologizing and offering job advancement, which I don't know. That's the weird place of this right now. Did she want that job advancement? And if she had been given those opportunities, would we be here right now? That's a question we need to ask, because she did keep it under wraps for all this time. This happened back in 2021. Okay. So this is 2024 now, 3 years in the future. This is around New Year's too. So it's almost on the dot. But if she had gotten that advancement, if she had gotten that promotion, if she had gotten put on full time, because as her co-host on there, Tiffany Cross, she was an example of someone who had been on the news and had a lot of airtime on the news and still wasn't able to cover her expenses. She was complaining about how much she was being paid as a contributor, as opposed to a host or having her own show, which she later did get. So they're in an interesting place, because you're like an independent contractor at this network. And so instead of them dealing with something that could have been a longer term issue or more of a hiring issue, I'm pretty sure that's why they decided to end the contract at CNN, right? CNN seems to me as a very risk-averse company. Like, they do not want to get deep into some type of scandal if they don't. Mind you, this is the same Chris Cuomo who CNN and Chris Cuomo parted ways after the anchor got caught up in the sexual harassment scandal that engulfed his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. CNN found out that Chris Cuomo aided his brother's team of officials on the matter, and he was ousted as a result. So apparently, now that Chris Cuomo is gone and she's gone from there, and he's got another job at News Nation, it doesn't seem like she's been hired anywhere else. There might be some type of beef there. And there might be a reason, like I said, to launch this podcast, to get that type of momentum going for your podcast. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Angela Rye has been hit or miss for me. And recently she's been growing on me. She's been starting to grow on me again. And I was like, she said some good things, like in response to the Ebony K. Williams situation. I thought she had a good perspective on it, and she was starting to gain support once again, because she had said so many isolating things to the black male part of the electorate, because most of the time it had to do with how black men were moving politically, and just kind of taking us for granted. That really alienated her from most of us anyway. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for the Patreon at the link below for exclusive content and live streams from Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.